have the bright, sparkly music for somebody who is always bright and sparkly, but especially today. Coach Carol Phillips is with us.
Shine bright.
Looking just amazing. Just
funny.
Amazing. Look at that.
It's been a busy day. I'm all dressed up. I did a photo shoot today, so.
That's why I was talking about going Facebook Live here.
The listeners are going to say, what is he talking about?
Have you ever done that?
What's that?
Go Facebook Live?
No. And one of my friends was doing something Facebook Live, and I couldn't figure out how to get into it, so. I have to be educated.
Idea. I have no idea. I guess we're too old, we can always learn, right?
That's right.
Yeah. But I have never done it. I get, things, reminders or notices all the time that so-and-so is live from somewhere, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't
Live from New York.
Anywhere.
It's Saturday night.
I could have been live from New York last Wednesday. I was telling John, I saw John's nephew Max is on Broadway. John Clayton, who was in here last hour, his nephew Max is on Broadway in a great show called Something Rotten. And my daughter, Melissa, and Max were great friends in high school, and they've kept in touch. And we went to see him on Broadway last Wednesday. And he was fantastic.
That's fun.
Really, third Broadway show for
good
Max
for
Clayton.
Him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's really amazing to me. And it was I even told him that it was a thrill for me to see a Broadway show with somebody I knew in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
It never happened before,
Yeah.
But
2 degrees of separation,
that's
right?
That's right. But he was terrific. So yeah, you're dressed for Broadway right now.
I am.
You are. You could star in any Broadway show right now.
Yeah, we did the photo shoot downtown.
Yeah.
And a little cool, a little breezy, but we made it work.
I know. And John saw you at City Hall taking pictures there.
He should have come over and said hi.
You know what? He said he was in a hurry to get over here. He was supposed to be.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The clock was ticking.
It was. It was. But I don't know how he didn't stop. I'm sure a lot of people did stop.
I'll just tell him next time. Just scream. Hi, Carol.
But Coach Carol Phillips is here, author of 52 Simple Ways to Health. On Ask Coach Carol, you can ask Coach Carol anything you want. Anything you want, you can ask her. 1-866-823-1077. Ask her about her makeup artist or, her clothing designer. You name it.
It has been quite the day. Started early this morning.
Yeah.
The hair takes a long time to do.
Boy, don't I know that.
Oh, I know.
Jeez.
1-866-823-1077 is our number. No guest today for Coach Carol. It's going to be a freewheeling hour here.
Crazy, wild and crazy.
And she didn't even know this. Mm-hmm. And she said we're going to talk about how to. Well, what's the topic again?
Worksite wellness. Keeping those employees healthy and happy. Not just healthy, but happy too.
We're all happy at the Pulse. All
That's
6 of
right,
us are very happy at the Pulse.
There's 6 of us here right now.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, you got Jay up there.
But today is Improve Your Office Day. Improve Your Office
It's
Day.
the perfect timing.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Yes. It's all. By the way, here's one way to do it. It's National Vodka Day too. There's one way you can improve the attitude in your office.
What's in your desk drawer?
Right. But at any rate, so it's with that being said, how do you improve things? Attitude, wellness, you name it.
Well, it's funny you should ask.
It's funny, huh?
And it's funny that you mention attitude because more and more companies now are paying attention to a potential employee's attitude, not just the skills. And some people might say, "Oh, you really need to what? The people need to have the skills necessary for the job." Well, of course they do. However, attitude is so important because you want employees who are coming in who are happy, who can get along with other people, who have a positive attitude to convey throughout your company.
Yeah.
So that really is important. But on the other end, the employers helping to create a culture of wellness, a culture where employees want to be there because it's more caring and it's fun. That's the thing is, some places think, oh, you know what, if my employees are having fun, then they're not working, therefore they're losing me money. But actually, it's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
So if employees are having, if they find fun at the workplace, they're going to continue to work there because training new people is expensive. So you want your employees not only be healthy, because obviously, the healthier they are, the more they're going to be there to do the job.
Less time they'll miss, yes. Yeah,
right, less absenteeism, less presenteeism, which is when employees are at work but they're not productive. And
that's what that's called. Okay.
Yes.
So what happens between 2 and 5 every day on the pulse?
I don't know.
Workers who are not productive.
So we're in that time slot right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, presenteeism is when they're present, but they're not as productive as they should be. Either they're not feeling well, or they don't like their job. That's who's going to work really hard, 40 hours a week if they don't like their job. So making sure those employees are happy and healthy, and there's a lot of ways to do that because most employers don't realize how much money they're losing every single year when their employees aren't healthy. So if a company says to me, we really can't afford a wellness program, then I know that they don't know how much money they're losing every day because of the employees. Every employee has some level of unwellness. You're not going to have all employees 100% healthy. Well, every percentage of unwellness is costing them dollars. So the wellness program is there to try to make up the gap, because that's what you want to do, is have the wellness program that's going to recover some of those losses.
Oh, there you go. And the answer, though, is not to bring in donuts every day to make people happy. That's not the answer. It may, make you happy that particular moment, but over the long haul, it's not going to be a good thing for you.
That's right. It might make them happy, but it's not going to help the healthy part.
No.
But you know what? Everything in moderation.
That's
right.
That's
right.
right.
And it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. I've seen time and time again. I've gone into companies to do presentations, and they'll schedule it for lunchtime, and they'll tell the employees, bring in your healthy lunch. Well, employees don't want to, most employees don't want to walk into the room with the quote-unquote health coach there with a lunch that they might perceive as less than perfectly healthy.
Right.
So then they don't come to the presentation. I'm too busy, or whatever the excuse is. Well, now they're not getting the education or the motivation or, whatever benefits, available for the wellness.
Right.
So, I like it better when companies buy lunch and it's not completely perfect. It's mostly healthy, but, have some cookies or whatever. So it's more realistic so that the people will come to the presentation.
No, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. That's a good tip right there.
Yeah.
She's full of them. Coach Carol.
Yes, she is.
That's right. And how to improve wellness and attitude. And, I think attitude is even more than, I'm not saying more than wellness, but attitude is so important to a job, really. I think that's, at least half the battle right there.
Right.
Is your attitude.
Right. There are so many components involved. Yeah. People tend to just look at, we got to take the education piece and, push it on the employees so they're healthier. But actually, it needs to start at the top with the employers creating a culture of wellness where not only is the education available, but they walk the walk. And, they truly believe in a healthy environment, and they allow their employees to be themselves and have fun and provide a comprehensive amount of information. And in all areas, it's not just about diet and exercise. It's about stress management.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I remember I had a situation where it was more emotional because I was completely unaware. Someone had the impression that I had offended another coworker. And I don't know how long it took for the HR manager where I worked to ask me about this situation between me and another coworker. And I was devastated because I had no idea. I had made an impression on someone that my boss would think that I would think a certain way. I'm trying to be very vague here about another person. It's like, you're my boss and you think I would believe that, or say something like that about a coworker? You believe that? And I don't know how long that went on.
Wow.
So what do you do? Like you say, a lot of it is someone having a safe place to go, maybe their boss, and say, I'm having this bad vibe from so-and-so, or I think I may have stepped on someone's toes. Is it appropriate to go to HR or your boss and say, I have a situation that's affecting my work. It's not. I eat right, I exercise, but I have that I don't know what to do about. So what might be the steps for that kind of health and culture?
Well, definitely, obviously, communication, and then maybe going to that person first and trying to have an open and honest conversation.
Well, that's what I ended up doing. I went to this coworker. I said, I am so sorry, but why did it take, who knows how long that woman thought I had done something offensive to her.
Right, and then it's bothering her every single day. But, it's funny you mentioned that because I'm going to be talking in a few minutes about my breakfast conference at LaBelle Winery. Well, my opening speaker is Armin Hebert from Hebert Consulting, and that's the work that he does. He does personality testing for companies so that they're hiring the right personality type for the right job.
Right, yes.
So, it is a really complex puzzle that needs to be put together, but, companies can't think that, well, if I just hire people who have the job skills and then I put them together, that everybody's going to get along great, because everybody has different personalities. And if you understand the personality types, then that can help you to create an environment where people are getting along better, or educate them so they understand the differences in their personalities.
Yeah, you don't have to be the best friend with everyone, but be able to say, okay, that's how she does this, and she still respects me. I can let her be herself because she lets me be myself.
Right, exactly. Just like, some people, they like a lot of detail. And other people are, just give me the facts. Just,
just the facts, man.
Just right.
The Joe Friday of the office.
That's right.
Just the facts.
Just what I need to know. Don't waste my time so I can move on.
Yeah.
So just knowing the people that you work closely with, what appeals to them and what doesn't can make such a difference.
Sure.
Obviously you were in a situation where something wasn't appealing to this coworker and you were just left in the dark.
Yeah, I was completely oblivious because this was a very brusque personality, this other woman, very straight, give me the fact, very serious in my, I saw her that way, and very, direct. So her behavior being direct or brusque with me and, it didn't seem different than she always had been. She's like that with everybody. And then I had this HR person tell me, well, so-and-so's thinking that you said X, Y, and Z, and that goes to backbiting in an office.
Which
is
is awful
so
because now
destructive.
It's already to HR
Yeah.
before you even hear about it.
Yeah, it was in my HR who told me, what happened between you and this other coworker, and that you said X about her daughter or some, just got like ballooned into this big thing.
And then what does it do to people's stress?
Yeah.
So obviously whatever's rubbing her the wrong way is going to be stressing her out every day.
Right.
And then you finding out that there's a problem that's already gone to HR, you're going to be stressed out, and then you're not going to be dying to go to work every day. So it really does affect people's health and wellness, those interactions.
Now, what about office politics? I mean, in a lot of companies, there are a lot of, politics and, that go on behind the scenes or sometimes right out there for everybody to see. But what do you do about that when you have somebody? There's always usually one or two people that are really concerned with the office politics.
Well, so, I think the top is going to model what's the acceptable behavior for that company. So, if you go to work for a new company and there's just a lot of respect from leadership and a lot of great communication, and people aren't, participating in a lot of office politics, then that's more than likely going to continue. Because, when we go to a new school, when we're young, we go in and we see what the culture is. So the culture is hugely important. Whereas, if you go in, start working for a company where people are always gossiping, they're being negative, and then instead of putting a stop to it, the supervisor is,
participating.
Participating or, pitting one employee against the other, it's not going to be a healthy environment. So it really does need to come from the top, and there needs to be a lot of communication. So, for example, if there's a company where non-management, rarely talks to some of the top managers, there's going to be more stress at that company because they don't always know what's going on. They're left in the dark. They don't feel taken care of by the leaders, which is really important. because even though we're adults, we still want to feel cared about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like when we're younger, we want to feel that people care about us.
Right.
Same thing in the workplace. So, and I often cite the market basket strike because that's such a great example.
Yeah.
You know, when you have somebody all the way at the top who goes out of his way to make, you know, the lowest paid employees feel,
Right.
you know, cared about
Yeah.
and important, that goes a long way with loyalty and productivity.
Yeah, I mean that's so true. I mean, communication really is the key. I think, you know, communicate with your employees and coworkers. I mean, it's very important. You know, J-Dog and I, we can't communicate at all. You know.
Good thing there's microphone there. But do you find, Carol, when it goes back that, you know, you were talking about people who sometimes are embarrassed about their lunch, or, you know, maybe, you know, or what they try to eat, or even if they smoke. How have you seen that in your experience where you have employees who, you know, feel they need to apologize for the fact that they smoke, or yes, this is the lunch I'm going to bring, and if most of it's made out of corn syrup and corn products, this is what I like to eat. You know, I mean, how do people, because we do shame people sometimes who maybe are on the heavier side, or don't eat as well as we think they should eat. I mean, is that play into some of your training?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, unless the smokers want help quitting, they don't talk about it. They just don't even bring it up.
Because that's a great time. You know,
Right.
I mean,
They'll
the
usually
cigarette
bring it
break.
up to me. If
Yeah.
it's part of the presentation, they'll talk about it. But otherwise, they'll talk to me about it afterwards, one-on-one, because they don't want to hear another lecture from their coworkers. And that doesn't help anybody when people are being lectured. And that's why sometimes people don't go to wellness presentations, because there's a history there of it feeling like a scolding session. Like, you need to learn this and you need to go do it. And that's not going to motivate anybody. You know, it needs to be educational so that, you know, there's new information people are learning, but it can't be scolding. It needs to be supportive. The other thing, it has to be fun.
Yeah.
If there's no fun element, they're not going to continue to come to the presentations.
Right.
And, you know, I've seen that in the past too. So it needs to be fun, welcoming. It can't just be about the education, because a lot of the education pieces people already know.
Sure.
They're just looking
Yeah.
to be motivated.
Yeah.
And they're also looking to feel that what is doable for them is good enough.
And they don't have to meet someone else's standard.
Exactly. You
Maybe
don't have to go
that's
out and make
key.
these big goals that aren't sustainable. So letting people be themselves is, you know, one of the top priorities.
To be yourself, Kenneth.
I try.
I mean, Lord knows I love all the food that people bring to
nobody
Cail
else-
Company.
no-
Don't stop bringing that barbecue and those cakes and cinnamon buns, please.
Well, by the
Keep
way,
bringing
by
them.
the way, let's see. Today is not only improve your office day,
Yeah.
but it is cinnamon roll day.
Oh, great day.
Cinnamon roll day.
That was one of my favorite things growing up, my mother making cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one cinnamon, maybe two, but it's the third and fourth cinnamon roll that gets me.
Third or fourth.
Yeah. Even if you pace it over the whole day, it's still 4 cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today,
Stretch it
improve
out.
your office day. International Toot Your Flute Day. Toot Your Flute Day. National Golf Day. It's National Golf Day.
So that's
today.
exercise.
So, is
Interesting.
Bob Lippman on the golf course today, J-Dog?
I don't know. I think he is.
Nope. See that? He must know it's National Golf Day. It's, you know what? These things always amaze me, and I don't mean to divert here from a topic. Far be it from me to ever do that. But it's National Ships in Bottles Day.
Ships.
You know,
There's a day for everything.
Don't they always? Don't they amaze you? Those
Yeah.
ships. They get these big
Yeah.
ships in a little bottle.
And people who do that for work full time,
Yeah.
that amazes me. It's like, how can you work on something so tiny all the time?
I know.
Well,
yeah.
they must have a great ergonomic work setup. I took a whole class in ergonomics at the defunct Hesser College, and it's amazing the small changes you can make just in the height of your keyboard or how your seat pan is angled for the length of your legs. It's very subtle changes make a big difference.
Make a big difference, right. And people getting up and moving on a regular basis. Now they say that people who work at a desk should get up and move at least every 45 minutes to an hour, because the body was not designed to just sit there. But the ergonomics when they are sitting there is really important, because it can, over time it causes so many problems.
You get
Neck,
that hunched up shoulders.
back, right, exactly. Posture, it's like your spine ends up not being in shape. And, it's funny. They did a study on bodybuilders. And, bodybuilders, they sometimes, they're so muscular and they're kind of hunched forward because, they want to work their pec muscles and their biceps and maybe not pay as much attention to their back.
It's like J-Dog,
they're working out in the gym all the time, looking in the mirror, right? Not at their back. So they're not working with a trainer where they're going to be focusing on muscle balance. So you're actually pulling your spine out of the correct position. And so they took x-rays of all these bodybuilders, and that's what they found, was that their spines were actually, not healthy because of the muscle imbalance. They weren't working their muscles in a balanced way. So like if you're doing abdominal work, you should be also doing back work. So everything stays balanced. You work your biceps, you should be working your triceps. So.
Well, it's way too complicated. Walking, that's what I do. I just walk. I'm hopefully getting every single muscle. Just
Walking's
walking.
great, especially outside, fresh air, sunshine, get the
Absolutely.
vitamin D.
So is it good then to have like a training buddy? Or maybe if you don't have a personal trainer, is it good to work with someone who helps motivate you, but also says, okay, maybe you should try working another muscle group, and I'll spot you on those exercises? Is that always helpful?
Well, people need to identify what works for them. If they're more social and that helps them to exercise more, absolutely. If they want some alone time, or it might be a little bit of each, whatever they decide that day. But that can really be motivating. The other thing is people who own dogs tend to exercise more because they have to walk them. They have to get up to let them out when they have to go to the bathroom. So people, and lower blood pressure. Because animals, calm us, and they're just full of unconditional love. So animals are great, too. So get those animals out of the shelter and reducing your blood pressure.
Definitely.
That's a good thing to do. Good thing to do. What did I see?
I suppose it could even be a mouse. It doesn't have to be a big pet.
Today,
That's right.
This is unbelievable, the way things are tying in here. Today is World Animal Day.
Get out!
It is.
Oh
it
my
is. It
gosh.
is World Animal Day.
See, we're just psychic over here.
I guess so.
Did you know today was going to be the psychic show?
I did not. I had that scheduled for Friday.
Oh, it's for Friday.
But it might have to be wiped out because of the Red Sox. But tomorrow, by the way, is National Cail Day.
National Cail Day.
Yes, it is. It is.
Well,
Right
that's
here
like
on Cail and Company.
salad.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They,
We get a kale smoothie.
It is.
Didn't someone bring us
It might
kale
be spelled
smoothies?
differently, but we're going to celebrate it like it's
you
not.
know what we can do is Cail versus Kale.
There,
A competition.
CAIL
Yeah.
versus KALE.
there you go. There you go.
Who's greener?
I think the KALE is greener than, I don't know.
It depends on the day. But very nice day. It was still partly sunny out there when you came in.
It is
Yeah.
a gorgeous day.
Oh,
Vacation.
we're back.
Yes.
We're back with that vibrant, lively music that puts a little bounce in your step, even if you're sitting down.
Yeah, Speaking of cruises.
Yeah, we're talking about cruises at CrewCon, Cruise Outlet.
That's right.
And cruise is a great thing. It really and truly is. And it doesn't have to be, people talk about, let's face it, they talk about eating a lot and drinking sometimes to excess on cruises. But, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. I mean, there are lots of opportunities to exercise on cruises. You can have a great time and not overeat and not overdrink.
That's
Well,
right.
there must be cruises that have a theme of like no alcohol or no gambling.
I don't think so.
No, like vegan cruises.
No,
I
they
think
have
alcohol is
healthier
vegan.
cruises, and they offer all kinds of exercise classes. And,
Sure.
And that's the other thing. Is
Yeah.
employers need to allow their employees to take their vacation time and do it on a regular basis, because the brain and the body needs a break. Otherwise, they just start becoming less and less productive. So let them have their vacation. They'll come back better employees, making you more money.
Now, is that what is called holistic therapies or holistic health, the whole mind, body, soul?
Exactly. Everything
idea.
together.
Excuse me.
So, it's not just diet and exercise. It's everything. It's the stress management. It's the life balance. It's having a positive mindset. So everything's connected. Everything in your life affects your health and wellness, and they all interact with each other all the time. So they're, when they say, okay, how much is diet, how much is exercise, it doesn't make any sense, because it's all important and everything affects each other.
So what do you do if you have a coworker or a loved one who just refuses to put down the donut or not go for a walk or have that cigarette or have that extra or second or third beer? I mean, how do you respond to someone who's really close to you? I mean, if my coworker wants to eat donuts and drink beer and, jump off a cliff, okay, I can cope with that. But, say my brother or my sister or spouse, what do you do with all that?
Yes.
That frustration.
I know. It's really hard because, it's hard to love people and then watch them not take care of themselves.
Right. Or if you have a boss who doesn't take care of herself and her health affects her decision making or her attitude in the office, since this is office, day. How do you approach a boss whose poor choices do directly have an impact on you, especially if you're a direct report?
Right. Well, first modeling the behavior.
Yeah.
And then, communication in a non-threatening way. Nobody wants to be bossed around and told they need to be taking better care of themselves. So if you approach it in a loving way, and then, you get to the point where if you're talking about two adults,
right,
an adult making unhealthy decisions, there's only so much that you can do, but then there's certain situations like with the smoking, how much are you going to tolerate?
Yeah, if your boss says, come out to the gazebo with me while I have a cigarette and we'll talk about the sales projections. Do you say, no, I don't want to be exposed to secondhand smoke?
Yes, you
smoke,
do.
and where I can see where someone might hesitate, like, okay, she's signing my review at the end of the month.
Exactly.
And I can always stand over to the side where there's a breeze. I mean, it sounds silly, but these are decisions people have to make.
One of the tips is, instead of saying something about them,
right,
say something about you.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can we plan this another time? The cigarette smoke, affects my breathing or whatever.
Because it really
Make it
is
more
about you. You're
instead
making
of
a
them.
choice. Okay.
Right.
Take
Exactly. But it's not
control of
easy
it.
because,
No.
I have a lot of people ask me about, I want my spouse to lose weight, or, my wife stresses through the roof and she needs to, get more coping mechanisms.
Yes. Yeah.
But, there's only so far you can go. And then the other person, it's going to be up to them.
And modeling does work. I mean, my husband is very high stress. In nothing you do seems, you can talk till you're blue in the face, but it is the modeling.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm going to go and do my meditation now. I'm going to do my hypnosis now. Or I'm going to, take deep breath. Just take a deep breath with me before you go to work. And it slowly does get in there. When you're not looking, you might see that spouse taking that deep breath or putting back an extra portion they might usually take. So modeling does work.
Yeah, or find things that you like in common. Go try a new class, or, go hiking somewhere. Find out what the other person wants to do. Find something in common that you're both going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not so much about focusing on the behavior that needs to go away, but instead planning more fun, healthy activities.
Okay. Yeah.
So then you're just automatically away from being bored and going back to the unhealthy behaviors. So same thing in the workplace. It needs to be modeled, but it also has to have that culture
Okay.
Coach Carol Phillips is with us, author of the award-winning 52 Simple Ways to Health. It's getting more awards all the time, right? Those awards just keep pouring in.
That's why she has all this lovely glam
That's
on.
it. I mean, you know.
You're a funny man, Ken.
It's like you could accept an award right now,
Yeah.
you know. There you go.
Oh, my
Best dressed.
God.
Best dressed here in the studio today.
I think we've done enough pictures for one day.
So don't some companies have a policy you are not allowed to eat at your desk? So it forces people. I think I've seen places like, your boss says, okay, you take your lunch and you go, even if it's 15 minutes,
They
go
just-
sit outside. You cannot eat at your desk for your lunch. You
Well,
can snack
right.
or
If they're
something.
sending a positive message, we
Yeah.
care about your health.
Yeah.
We don't want you at your desk too long. We want you to be able to get a mental and physical break.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, if it's presented in a positive way, that's a good thing because people do tend to do that. Well, I'll get so much more work done if I work through lunch, but it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You might get a little more work done, but over the months and the years,
Yep. It adds up.
exactly.
The stresses.
Right, because at some point, if the person's health breaks down, then they're not going to be there at all.
Right.
So, on that note, before we run out of time and not get a chance to do it, tell the folks about your event coming up on the 18th of this month at the LaBelle Winery.
Yes, 2 weeks from today, it's coming up fast.
Wow, that's right.
My company, Health Design, is hosting a breakfast conference at LaBelle Winery in Amherst, Tuesday, October 18th from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Energy Entertainment is going to be DJing the event, so we're going to have some great background music.
And a lot of high energy.
High energy.
She's gonna
And
make
it's
us
always
stand
good
up
to
and
start the
move.
day with a glass of wine. I've often said that.
Well, we won't be doing wine in the morning,
oh.
but we will have a continental breakfast there. Lots of opportunities for networking, and like I said before, my opening speaker is Armin Hebert from Hebert Consulting. He's going to be talking about his work with companies and how it relates to wellness, and then I'll be talking about the value of worksite wellness, how companies can reduce those health-related costs and increase productivity to increase their profits. And it's going to be a lot of fun and a great networking opportunity for businesses to come. You can go on the LaBelle Winery website and sign up for the event. It's $30, and it's at labellewinerynh.com. Go to their events link and then find the calendar, and it's on there. You can click on there and register for the event. So come join us, and we're
it's
going to have
open
a
to
great
everybody.
time.
Everybody can go.
Anybody can come. It's a public event, and we're
Yeah.
going to have a great time.
We are going to have a great time. Carol will make sure of that everybody will have a great time.
She will.
You'll eat healthy and learn a lot at the same time in those 3 hours. 3 very valuable hours, 8:30 to 11:30.
And then I'll be back here that afternoon,
And
except it's going to be 4 o'clock that day.
It will be 4 o'clock that day.
Yeah.
4 o'clock on the 18th. You'll be back here. But that's the 18th, so make your reservations now and have a great time. I know I'm going to be there for sure. And how about you, Pearl? Are you going to be there too?
I'm checking my calendar.
I know. You're very busy.
She's
I
a
know
busy
you're
lady.
Very, very, very busy. But I will definitely be there. I'm looking forward to it. And it should be a lot of fun and very informative too.
Right.
Very, very informative.
Companies can get some great information on how to make sure their employees are happy and healthy.
I think that's true of all of us at the Pulse, isn't it, J-Dog? I think we're all happy and healthy, aren't we?
Is he
I think
busy
so.
eating pizza?
Did they bring the
I
pizza
think so.
today?
That's a safe answer, J-Dog.
Well, I was just on the American Heart Association's website, and they were talking about sodium, reducing the sodium in your diet. And they have 6 top salt targets to, this top 6, not enemies, but, like 6 foods to really watch.
Try and avoid, huh?
Yeah, and one of them, and they included a sandwich as the number 6 deadly thing, I guess deadly, that people turn to for foods, and pizza was on there too. But I don't know how that works out because breads and lunch meats were the first 2.
They have a lot of salt in them.
So how can you include a sandwich if the sandwich is made from the first 2? So I thought that was
right.
kind of odd. But, people I thought your go-to meal is a sandwich. But it was pizza, which again is bread, and then bread, lunch meat, pizza, a sandwich, canned soup.
Oh, yes.
Cans
you know
too.
what? I
And I don't
Tons
know
of
what the
sodium.
last one
sodium.
was.
I can't
Yeah.
believe the sodium. I try to find one, that is not packed with sodium, and it's tough to do, even if they say on the label low in sodium. When they say low in sodium, what is it, like 30% instead of 45?
You know what is so worth it is to get fresh ingredients.
And just on a
And-
Saturday, rainy Saturday.
Exactly. Make a
bunch
huge
of
pot
soup.
of soup. And then
And just freeze.
freeze it. Right. Get a bunch of the,
That is a good idea. No,
the
it
individual containers at the
Yeah.
dollar store that are BPA free, so they don't have the chemicals in the plastic. And then fill those up and put them in the freezer. You save so much work.
And
is.
money.
And then get a big loaf
And-
of bread to go with it.
And okay, then you can have your loaf of bread in
Well,
moderation.
Exactly, because you
you've
know
got
what?
the
Even if
soup.
you're having the bread with the homemade soup,
Right.
so much less sodium
Yeah.
than the canned soups, which are
Sure.
just through the roof in sodium.
Yeah.
And now we get 70% of our sodium from prepackaged food, which is the numbers that most people consume. And, I tell people, think about it. If you're taking in way too much salt every day, you are literally pickling your own organs.
Oh,
Think about
I never
that.
thought of that.
Because over time, that's
Yeah.
your health will start to break down. And in the meantime, it brings your blood pressure up to a level that's too high. So,
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah.
nice thought, huh?
Making soup is a good
Wow.
thing. That's a real good thing.
That's right.
And a good tip. And you can have a
And it
little,
can be fun. I'm thinking, if you could find someone who maybe someone has a favorite charity who's a cook, and you could say, hey, I'll take what you would pay for canned soup, say it's $2 a can, and you buy 10 a month, however the math is there, and tell your friend, hey, I'll donate X amount to your favorite charity if you'll cook me some soup. I mean,
there you
everybody
go.
knows a friend who loves to cook. And if you've kind of, work something, here's all the ingredients, make me some soup. And that way you're engaging with your neighbor, which is healthy, or your friend.
That's right.
You're saving money, you're eating well, and you're helping out, something that's important to your friend.
That's a great idea.
I should have had my
the-
dad cooking more while he was here.
Or simply
Yeah.
the person who's cooking, they end up with
And they have their half of the soup.
they
or
have their
something.
half for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the
Brilliant.
neighbor paid for all the ingredients.
Yeah. That's
you
brilliant.
can't beat
There you
that.
go.
You can't beat that.
Oh,
can
my-
you?
It's a win-win.
It's a
Man, some of the
win-win.
things you come up with on this show
Yeah.
is just boggles the mind.
We do need to get back to talking to our neighbors and, stopping to take a breath because we are just go, go, go all day long. It's crazy. So remember those days where we used to just stand out on the street and gab with the neighbors
And
for a
then
while?
swat the mosquitoes off of you, and you
That's-
stand there and keep talking.
Oh, welcome back. You know that music means Coach Carol Phillips is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, looking better than ever. She always looks great, but today just unbelievable.
In the house,
Unbelievable.
trying to pretend to be wild and crazy and fun.
Well, you are. Yeah, you are, right? At least inwardly, right?
Inwardly. I know. People tend to think I'm super conservative, and it's kind of funny.
Oh, we know better, though. We
I know.
better, yeah.
I guess I must keep it a pretty good secret or
You
something.
keep it under wraps, but I think people who know you know that you're not prim and proper all the time.
They just have to go out with me more. That's all.
That's it. That is it. And 3:51 is our time. So we're talking about how to improve things in the workplace, mentally, physically, spiritually.
See, I love that.
Every way.
See, you've got the
In each and
holistic thing
every
down.
way.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah. And you know what?
You know what also is important too, and I've been very fortunate in my life to do things that I enjoy doing for work. Really, and if I feel badly for people who don't.
Absolutely.
I really do. You should always be able to do something you enjoy.
Right. A lot of people really feel stuck. And what I tell people is, start living your dreams. Start doing what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean the change is always going to be easy, but man, it'll be so worth it.
Or maintain that one step. It's not like you if you can't quit your job, okay, start doing one thing that leads you down that path.
It's so funny because that's
It's
my
not a
message
black
all
and
the
white
time.
thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Take one
step.
Make one little change. In fact, the article that I wrote this month is 60 seconds. Can you take 60 seconds a day for yourself? Can you start taking 1 minute for you and learn to start getting that ball rolling and let it pick up speed? So if anybody wants to read that blog post, it's askcoachcarol.com. Go to my blogs and you'll see that article on just 60 seconds a day. Take that for yourself. Because a lot of times when I do presentations, if I'm talking about meditation, I'll do this little tiny meditation exercise. And I'll have people sit comfortably and close their eyes and slow down their breathing and think about one small thing that they can change before the end of that day. Not tomorrow, not next week, not these big goals for next year, but before they even go to bed that night. And so then I just, let them just sit and relax. And I only count to 30. And I say, take a deep breath. How did that feel? And then I'll say, okay, raise your hand if that's the first time in a week you've taken that much time for yourself. And most people raise their hand.
Wow.
And then I tell them that was only 30 seconds.
Wow.
So if people can just start with 1 minute a day, taking it for yourself, just
Well, I'm like,
doing
I have
nothing for a
3
minute.
hours.
There you go.
3 hours I get to take that pause and have some fun.
You've worked up.
Yes. Worked up to 3 hours.
Oh, man. So 3:54 is our time, and we have to wrap things up. But it's been a lot of fun to talk about how to improve your outlook, your attitude, your well-being in the office. And again, you'll be at the LaBelle Winery because we won't see you until the 18th now.
That's right.
A couple of weeks. So let people know at the LaBelle Winery. You can go on their website and you can register. And I imagine space is limited, so do it as soon as you can, right?
We're going to have a great time. Yep. Tuesday, October 18th, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Be there or be square. Continental breakfast. Bring some business cards. It's a great event for HR managers, business owners, upper management. So, join us.
Great day of sociability and fun and learning and interaction with people you probably wouldn't meet under any other circumstances.
Right. So if you go to labellewinerynh.com,
There you go.
up in the top corner, it says, I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but whatever is the events, it's not just an events tab, but whatever is similar to some, I can't remember how it's worded. But anyways, click on that. It'll bring you to another page where you can click on their events calendar and then click on that link, and then you can register.
There you go.
It's a couple steps, but it's worth it.
Well worth it. It'll be a major event at LaBelle Winery on October the 18th, and we hope to see you there. Coach Carol, as always, great
Thanks,
to see
Ken.
you. And
Thanks, Ella.
You're welcome.
we will see you on the 18th.
See you on the 18th.
Look forward to that.